All right, guys, so this video is about the 36 countries I traveled to. Oh, yeah, I'm a traveler. I've been a solo traveler. Beautiful, man. I've traveled the globe. Wonderful. Yeah, well, I got scammed in many of those countries. I lost money while I was traveling in those countries. Got scammed. I'm going to tell you about all of that stuff. Let's see. We're just going to go down the list, okay? Let's see. Where did I get scammed? All right. I can think of in Peru. In Peru, the wonderful, beautiful Peru. I remember walking down the street and just having, a young boy who saw me and said, "Oh, he must have money." Just walk up to me and just stick his hand out. That's all he did. And I handed him a few of the local currency. Just, he knew I was going to give up my money. He was like, "Come on, give it up." That was in Peru. Scammed in Peru. Man, excuse me. I can't think of being scammed in Peru. I'm sure it happened though, because I've been scammed, so many times. I'll have to come back to Peru, all right? I'm making this video on the fly, so anyway. A scam that comes to mind is when I was in Ethiopia. I love Ethiopia. I'm so for traveling to Ethiopia. But if you could travel to Ethiopia, things can get dangerous really quickly. There was a Californian explorer. I believe she was a student. She was a white girl and she died there around 2017. You have to Google that story. Things, jump off in Ethiopia. I think it was a protest and someone threw a big rock, and it hit her in the head when she was riding a bus. I think that's how it happened. That's very sad. So you have to be careful. Now, I love Ethiopia, but I got scammed in Ethiopia. There was a dude there, and he saw me, and he was like, "Yep, I'm going to get him." So he approached me. The Bible says, what, the devil comes humble in his approach. The guy approached me humbly. "Hey, how you doing, man? Where you from?" He was actually wearing an LA ball cap, too. And I'm like, "I'm from LA." And he was wearing my cap, And he's like, "Oh, you're from LA. All right." He's like, "Well, come with me and I'll show you a good time. I'm going to show you the clubs. I'm going to show you a nice club, man. Take you to a nice club." And that didn't work out. He took me to, took me like down the street, just a short ways from where I was. And it was a home. And there were some women there. And the idea was he lures men back to this home, has them sit down, and he serves them overpriced beers. And he pressures them to buy the beers for the ladies as well. Now, this is just a regular scam because this happens in many countries where you go into a bar and then you buy a lady a drink, and the lady's drink is like 3 or 4 times any drink, what any drink should be. And so this was the same scam. So anyway, I got in there. I lost about $150 because I bought maybe 2 or 3 drinks, and one was for the lady, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you owe me some X number of dollars." I was like, "I'm out of here, man. You tricked me. You lied to me. And I trusted you. I trusted you because you were a brother. You were Ethiopian brother. I thought you were just being cool and cool with a brother, traveling. No, you scammed me, man." Yeah, so it's a good thing, it was only $150. That's a lot of money, but, my health and my safety, that's more valuable. So $150 for that lesson, fine. So don't trust anybody who tells you, "Hey, man, I'm going to show you a club in Ethiopia." That's just one of the scams, I'm sure. But outside of that scam in Ethiopia, yeah, I wasn't really scammed. I stayed with the tour groups. I stuck with the tour groups, and sticking with a tour group will help you avoid a lot of the scams. Turkey. I was in Istanbul, Turkey, and I got scammed. Went into a McDonald's, and there were two dudes in there, and they were, friendly as all can be. "Hey, how you doing? Where you from, man?" or whatever. And they weren't threatening. It wasn't too overbearing. They weren't aggressive. They were real cool dudes, and they were like, "Yeah, man." So they told me, "Hey, man, we're gonna go to a club. You want to come with us, man? We're gonna have a good time." Now, I wanted to protect myself. So in order to protect myself, I knew that I had a rental car. And I figured if I'm driving, I'll be in control of the situation. You guys will go where I tell you to go or where I drive you versus, me jumping in a car with these dudes or following them somewhere. So I felt like I was in control, and I told them, you guys jump in my car and then you could tell me where the club is and I'll drive there or whatever. And so they agreed. So I thought, all right, these guys are pretty cool. And we get to the club, and there are some beautiful women there, beautiful women dancing and everything. It's kind of like a strip club, but none of the women are taking off their clothes. It's just the girls are dancing on the stage, and then they're coming off of the stage and sitting down with the men. So one woman pulled up next to me, sat down, and two other women pulled up and sat next to those dudes, and we're all laughing and talking and whatever, and then drinks are being poured and coming around. I did not know. I think those two guys were working for that club, and they were just trying to lure guys to that club, because as I'm sitting there and these drinks are just coming, and the waiter is like, buy the lady another drink. And I'm like, yeah, sure, thinking that the drinks are like $5. And she's just tossing them back. And I'm thinking, oh, I might have spent like $100 on like $5 drinks or whatever, but I'm like, whatever, I'm cool. No, those drinks, my drinks and their drinks, all combined, the waiter comes back after we've been there chilling for a minute, and he tells us that the bill is $3,300. And I'm supposed to come up with $1,100 because this is split by 3 guys. I'm supposed to come up with $1,100. That was a scam. How did I get out of that situation? I went to the ATM and I pulled out like $500 or $600. And then, like I told the bouncer, I told the guy, I told the owner, that's all I could come up with. Now the guy I was there with, the 2 guys I was there with, one guy was just still partying with the ladies and stuff. The other guy was like watching my situation, and he was like, man, if you didn't have the money, you could have just borrowed the money from me. And I'm thinking, really? I don't know about that, but whatever. So the manager at the bar was really like, he really accepted, that I couldn't come up with $1,100 right then and there. And he was glad to take my $500 or $600. So I don't know if that other guy was honest and if he paid, for the rest for me or what, but they let me live and they let me out of that situation. And I drove on home alone, and I was in Istanbul, Turkey. But those dudes, yeah, they didn't ride with me, back, which made me think, oh, they work for that club. They weren't going to ride with me back to, where we met, which was at a McDonald's. That wasn't going to happen because they were right where they needed to be. They were just going to be right there with their boss, counting the money that they scammed, from me. So anyway, that was Istanbul, Turkey. I got scammed I was in Mexico. I was in Mexico City. And I was at a Starbucks. Right outside the Starbucks, there were a few taxi cabs were lined up. And this one particular taxi driver was there saying, screaming, taxi, taxi. And it was kind of like, why does he have to scream, to get business? If you need a taxi, you just pull up and you're like, take me wherever. And they're like, hop in. But this dude was like, taxi, taxi. So I finished my drink and I was like, all right, I'll give him my business. So I go to his taxi, I jump in. We get to my destination. Everything was cool as far as, getting me from the place where he picked me up to my destination. And then when I arrived, I pulled out some money to hand it to him. I handed him the money, and then I went to exit the vehicle. In a split second, he switched bills on me. All right, I gave him, I don't know, imagine, I forgot how much it was like a $200 peso, a 200 peso bill. I gave him a 200 peso bill. He switched it really quickly, and then when he switched it with a counterfeit, a fake bill, and he tore the fake bill. And just before I got out of the car, he said, no, you can't give me this bill. It's torn. I don't want this bill or whatever. And he hands it back to me, and I look at it, and I feel it, and I'm like, that's not the bill I gave you, dude. Nah. So I was like, You know, no, 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 no. I said, mentiroso, mentiroso. No, senor. No, no, no. And he was like, what? And I was like, nah, man. Give me my money. Give me the right money. And so he was like, he was like, yeah, he caught me. Okay, fine. So he gave me the change or whatever. And I inspected the bills that I received. And I was like, okay, that's my change. So had I walked away from that situation, or had I fallen for his ruse, I would have had to come up with more money to say, oh, I'm sorry, I gave you that. Oh, okay. Nah, but I knew what that money felt like. I knew I had proper real money. That was in Mexico City, Mexico. The Philippines. I was in the Philippines. In Manila. I had just taken a taxi and I went to the Mall of Asia. And the problem was I hadn't exchanged my Filipino currency for my large bills for smaller bills. All right. And I jumped in the taxi and I gave the guy the equivalent of $20, 20 US dollars. In Filipino pesos, it was like 1,000 pesos. So I gave him a 1,000 peso bill for a trip that really cost like maybe $3, maybe $6. I don't know. And he gave me all counterfeit bills in change. Now, I didn't know it when he handed me the change. I didn't know that he had given me all fake bills. It was when I went into the mall and tried to pay for something using those bills that the attendants looked at each bill very carefully and said, no, sir, these are counterfeit. I'm sorry. And I said, whoa, that taxi driver got me. So that's a story in the Philippines. Being scammed, losing money, scammed all over the globe. Let's see. I can't say that I've ever been scammed in Japan. The Japanese are different. If you lose your wallet in Japan, your wallet is likely to be picked up by someone and sent to a lost and found in Japan. And if you go to that lost and found, you can retrieve your lost item. And on top of that, all of your money will be in there. That's how cool the Japanese are. That's how honorable the Japanese are. So I don't have any stories about losing anything in Japan. In fact, I can't wait to get back to Japan. Have some delicious ramen and some sushi and drink some Asahi beer. Man, yeah. In Korea could be, they can get down. The Koreans can get down, and losing things in Korea, you can retrieve things. The Koreans are extremely polite, not to the same degree that the Japanese are. That politeness is ingrained in their culture. The Koreans are slightly cruder. All right. Let's see. Scammed in Korea. I don't recall being scammed outright in Korea. Oh, well, in Korea, oh man, there should definitely be some scams. There's some things that the Koreans can definitely be janky and can really, do things that upset you. Outright being scammed out of your money. Nah, I can't think of anything right now. So Peru, Korea, and Japan. I can't think of any scams that come to mind here. Cuba, the Cuban scam. Cuba has scammers. They have some born hustlers. The Cuban cigar scam. They tell you, come to our home. A member of my family works in the factory, the cigar making factory. Come to my home. We've collected cigars. The government wants us to collect cigars, and we are willing to sell the cigars to you. and they present the cigar in a very lovely box with lovely stickers that look like they are official. But when you open the box, if you know how to inspect the cigar, you can tell immediately that the cigars are counterfeit. But if you don't know, the cigars look very official. They look genuine. But no, they're fake. That's the Cuban hustle. That's one of the Cuban hustles. I got hustled out of $250, $250, almost $300 buying fake Cuban cigars in Cuba. Yeah, they are some hustlers. Another country, excuse me, hustled out of my money, lost some money. Let's see. Oh, yes, I was in Sri Lanka. I was in Sri Lanka, and I had money stolen out of my, shoot. I'm ashamed to even call it a purse. It's a satchel. It's a satchel. You know, it's a man's purse. It's a satchel. And I remember I was in Washington, D.C. wearing it, and this Ethiopian dude standing behind me said, I like your purse. And I was so offended by that. I was like, man, you uncouth dude, don't you know this is not a purse? A woman carries a purse. A man carries a satchel, or over the shoulder, bag, not a purse, man. Well, anyway, what happened? Yeah, so I was wearing this purse. And I was in Sri Lanka, and I had like $300 stolen out of my bag, and yeah, that was a scam for me right there. Oh, yes. And in the Philippines, little kids walking down the street, little kids will run up and try to stick their hand in your pocket to steal your wallet, steal your money. Yep, that's back in the Philippines. That happened. Yep. They didn't get anything, but they certainly ran up behind me and stuck their hand in my pocket, and then they turned around and ran off laughing and stuff like that. So they tried. China. Oh, in China they have scams. China, the Chinese. All right. So in China, if you go to Tiananmen Square, and if you go to the Forbidden City, right outside there, if you're walking around taking a picture looking like a tourist, well, there are Chinese women who will stop you and corral you. Come on over here. Would you like to have some coffee and sit with a nice Chinese lady and talk? And you think they're just being nice and they just want to talk to you and over a cup of coffee. No, they want you to sit and talk, and they're going to charge you, some exorbitant amount for the coffee and for that lady's time. And that's real. The coffee scam in China. Yeah. So what happened to me? I had read about those scams. I had read about it. I had heard about it. So when I was walking around, I was surprised because it was happening to me. And she was like, come on over here, have some coffee. And it was like, I know that one. I'm out. So I didn't get scammed that way in China. I didn't get scammed any other way either. Not that I can think of. I do recall in China looking at the weird and exotic foods, and I was just curious, so I wanted a closer look. And upon inspection, the chef, the guy who was trying to sell this food on the street, asked me, okay, what do you want? What do you want? And I said, no, I don't want anything. Man, he was the rudest person I had ever met, because after I told him, no, I didn't want anything, he was like, then get out of here. Go away. What the hell are you doing? I was like, oh my gosh. He was very friendly, when he asked me, what do you want? What can I get for you? And when I said, no, I don't want anything, he turned on me like, whoo, man, get out of here, The Chinese for you. Let's see, any other countries? South American countries. In Panama, a scam in Panama. Now, I wasn't scammed in Panama. I was, what happened in Panama? The police I was on the bus and the police sort of harassed me and this other guy because we were the only blacks on the bus, and they told us. So the police got on the bus and told everyone they were going to check passports to make sure everyone was legal. That's what they announced. And then they were like, well, we'll just check these two Negroes. Let's see your passports. So they checked our passports, and then they were like, okay, everyone have a nice day. And my man who was next to me, the black Panamanian brother, was like, you know why? This is why, This is why. Yeah, man, that's what happened to us in Panama. Happened to me, happened to him, yeah. Panama. Costa Rica, being scammed in Costa Rica. Now, I wasn't really scammed in Costa Rica. I was with good people. I had good times in Costa Rica, and I didn't, although I was a solo traveler, off the beaten path, as it were, I did not encounter any scams. Although in Costa Rica they do have casinos, and I went into the casino. I won some money, which I was very happy to do, and then I quickly lost that money as well. It wasn't a scam. I was just gambling and I lost some money, but I was up. Isn't that always the story? Oh, gambler's always up, and then he loses everything. Another country in Africa, Tanzania and Zanzibar. Again, when I went to Tanzania and Zanzibar, I was on a tour, so I was protected from the scams. Egypt, I was protected from the scams because I did not, because I wasn't staying there very long, and I didn't know the lay of the land. I was on a tour, Oh, now here it is. Here's the creme de la creme. This is the icing on the cake right here. This story, check this out. I'm in Dubai, right? And man, this was a few years ago now. I'm in Dubai, and I happen to discover that they have some women of the evening, women of the night working in Dubai, and they had a picture. Tinder is very accessible in Dubai, in the United Emirates and Bahrain and those countries. You can pretty much use Tinder all over the globe, but here's my Tinder story. Found a picture of an attractive woman on Tinder. I was in Dubai, and I'm a single man at the time, and I thought, well, whatever, men do what we do. So I go over to the location, which is a hotel, to meet with this woman. I go upstairs and knock on the door. The door opens, and the room is completely pitch black. And there's a woman behind the door saying, come on in. You ever see the rabbit trap? The box is held up by a stick, and once that rabbit is lured inside of that box, that stick is pulled away, and that box drops on that rabbit, and that rabbit is stuck. I was the rabbit. So I walked into that room, and they shut the door behind me, and I was like, whoa, wait, I can't see, what's going on? And there was another door in the bedroom. The door was open, the light was on, and the woman told me, go in the bedroom. And I'm like, what? So I go into the bedroom, and a few seconds later, a woman walks into the room who does not look anything like the woman I expected to see in the picture on Tinder. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? You're not that woman I was here to meet. What's going on? So in walks another woman. Two women walk in there. And then, so now the intimidation factor is growing, because these two women are not the women I wanted to see. And they're in this room with me. And then I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to leave now because, I'm ready to go. No, thank you, or whatever. And then in comes another woman, a third woman. And they're like, no, you're not, sit down, stay where you are. You're not going anywhere. I'm like, what? Yes. What's that? 3 women? A 4th woman walks in. Now I'm surrounded by women, and I'm like, and none of them, none of them look like the woman who was in the picture. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Then, a 5th woman walks in. Then a 6th woman walks in. A 7th woman walks in. 8th woman walks in. 9th woman. 10th, 11th, 12th. 13 women. 13 women are in that room, in my room. 13 women, and none of them, I want nothing to do with any of them, right? 13 women are staring at me. I'm like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this situation. Any one of them could have pulled a razor on me and started slashing me up or doing something to me that I really didn't want to happen. And there was one woman who was just quietly brooding in the corner, and she was a big woman too. And I was like, uh-oh. These other women are little thin things, but the one over there in the corner, ooh, she's brooding. So as she's brooding, I'm like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get out of here. And then she like slams her fist down. She's like, no, give me your your purse. I had the same damn purse. She was like, give it to me. And I was like, oh man, my satchel. She wanted my satchel. I had my passport in there. I had like $500, which I wasn't planning on spending. I had $500. I had a satchel in there, and she took it from me. So she goes through everything, goes through all of my everything in my satchel. She sees my passport, passes that up, and goes for the wallet, goes for my cash. She finds the cash, takes all my cash, leaves my passport, leaves my wallet, leaves my ID, everything, credit cards, whatever, you name it was in there. She just took the cash. And then like 12 of the women left, and one of the women stayed with me. And I'm like, I was terrified. So there was nothing happening. Plus, she wasn't even remotely, she didn't even remotely look like the woman in the picture. So I wasn't even, interested. I was just, tucked my tail between my legs, and I just asked to get up out of there. She was like, but you don't want anything? I'm like, no, thank you. I got the lesson that, I got. Yeah, so that's a real story that happened. And, so beware, be careful. Those are real things that happen. That was in Dubai of all places. And any other countries? Ethiopia, Morocco. Morocco was cool, but they're just very insistent that you buy their rugs. It's not a scam. It's just, they just assume you have money. I told the dude, I'm like, I don't have any money. He was like, shut up, sit down, drink some tea, and hear me out. I'm like, man, I don't have any money for you to buy any of your rugs. He was like, okay, fine, get out of here. Same thing in Turkey. In Istanbul, they will try to sell you those rugs. They're beautiful rugs, but man, oh man. Anything else? Any other parts of the globe? South America, Africa, Europe. Scammed in Europe. Did I get scammed in Europe? In Paris, in Switzerland, in Spain. Germany. I didn't get scammed in Germany. I didn't get scammed in Europe. I didn't get scammed in Africa. Oh, no, Ethiopia. I did. Yeah. Yeah, I've traveled to 36 countries, and those are some of the highlights of the scams that I've encountered. So I began this video by saying that yes, I was scammed in all of the countries, but that's not exactly true. But yeah, I've had my experiences. Now, the one thing is, if you're traveling to a country where it's poor, it's a poorer country, then yes, you are going to encounter people who are going to beg or ask for, money. That just comes with the territory. I was gladly, handing out bills or handing out money to people who were poor, who were obviously poor and needed support. I remember even in Ethiopia, I walked out of a restaurant thinking that it was okay to have a doggy bag and take away food. Once I hit the street, no, there was a woman who approached me like, share with me, brother, share with me, give me that. And I was like, you're right, here, take this, go. And that was the end of that, you know. That was Ethiopia. Let's see, any other scams? Nah, those are my stories on scams. All right. So if you're thinking about traveling, stick with the tour, stick with trusted places and people that you trust, and be careful. Be careful, because it's not always, traveling is not always, oh, it's so much fun and it's great and we had the time of our life and we just met some person and we had a wonderful time with that person. We trusted them, and no. Keep your guard up and be careful. And as far as money goes, yes, if you don't know what you're doing, you can easily lose money, in another country. Easily. I remember one last question. When we went to Cancun recently, last year in Cancun with my wife, we went to, where the hell did we go? Where we were staying, from the hotel that we were staying, all we had to do is make a short trip back to the airport. And then from the airport, take a bus to Tulum. We were in Cancun, all right? That was the quickest way to get to Tulum. But no, me and my brilliant idea, we had to leave the hotel, drive all the way downtown, which was completely in the opposite direction. And in the city center, we boarded a bus that basically took us all the way back, past the airport, past Tulum. So I had a driver who I trusted, and I told her, what we were planning to do. So I was kind of scammed because she didn't tell me like, hey, dude, you're going out of your way to get to Tulum and you're having me drive you out of the way. She didn't do that. She was just like, okay. So you could kind of say I got scammed that way, but, but I told her what I wanted to do. We're going to go up that way. She was like, all right. All right, those are my stories. Peace.